All right, it is time for another installment of What in the World Have I Gotten Myself Into? If this is your first time watching, this is my project. It's a 1950 Caterpillar D4 that I rescued from the woods, and it is now kind of scattered throughout my yard here. My name is Matt, and I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't know much about bulldozers, but I really want my bulldozer, so I'm working as best as I can to get this thing up and running. So with all that said, let's get to work and keep tearing this thing apart. Running out of capacity. This looks to be a drain plug. There's a magnet right here. Some metal flakes on it, but nothing too worrying. Here's the other plug. A lot of sludge. Not sure what this actually is. I'll have to look it up. Oh, bad time, dog. Bad timing. Another little bit of metal on this magnet. Oh, this thing only had 2 out of 4 screws installed. I guess these other ones they look like they've been RTV'd over. I'm not sure what that's about. Same in the housing too. Very odd. Pretty tight back here. Look at that, bottom bolt's all the way loose, and you can't get it all the way off because this hydraulic pump's too close. Top one is unloosened. Quarter more inch and you could have been able to do it, but if you look at it, the blade runs right in front of this thing, and so I'm guessing the blade was designed first. Then they threw the hydraulic pump on there and they realized they didn't have enough space. So I mean, a quarter more inch and you would have had it. Alright, that bracket's loose. Now I can actually get in here and get a good angle on this top bolt, which I couldn't before. Of course, the one that I can't reach with the impact wrench takes 10 times the amount of time to get off, but the way of the beast. Well, this actually doesn't look too bad. There's fluid in here. It looks pretty clean. This is actually holding its level right here. And let's see what happens when I pull the lever. See if it, I guess it's, oh, yep, there it goes. So the valves work. Well, gee, that's pretty nice. I'll take whatever I can get at this point, and yeah, this thing seems to be not too bad. So I did just dump out this fluid, and this actually was what's in the bottom of the pump housing here. So there's a lot of There's a lot of flake and garbage in here. That's not good, but you know, it can always be worse, right? So check out these brackets. These hold the pump to the frame here. This one has a crack in it. See if you can see that. Sometimes these cameras aren't great at close-ups, but there's a crack right there. It also has this bolt, which I don't really know what purpose it serves. Maybe I think it locks the two other bolts in. This thing's swiveling right now, but there's two bolts that go in there, and I think maybe this one locks it. If you go look at the other one, this bracket's, the welds are there, but the bracket's gone. And there's also the same crack right there, which is interesting. I'm not sure why that crack is. It's almost like something gripped it and pulled the whole thing down. Maybe it got stuck to the blade or something. I can fix those brackets easily. This thing probably doesn't weigh too much, maybe 100 pounds. Dude, this thing is pretty heavy. Let's see if it's gonna even come off here. Oh my God. Yeah. All right, it's ready to come off. Let me just... Okay, I'm looking around right now for a place to set it. Whew. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's heavy. Oh, more than 100 pounds, that's for sure. Jesus. Woo. Yeah, I'd say it's about 150. Got it though. Holy cow, you guys! That thing was really heavy. There was a moment of panic there. I don't think you could see my face in that shot, but I was like, I'm just gonna have to drop this thing because it was really that heavy. And I was able to let it slip out of my hands. I didn't really take too much damage in my hands, but that thing was heavy. This is the. I'm not sure if this is supposed to jiggle this much. I hope it is, but as you know, someone that's worked on my fair share of, you know, machines, cars, and trucks, and this is typically something that you wouldn't want to see. Although, I mean, it does have to mount up with that, and so maybe there's some, you know, there's a U-joint. I don't think there's a U-joint. That thing's rigid, so we'll figure that out. I mean, we're gonna have to take the radiator off next. All right, let's drain the radiator. Let the record show that this is a mostly clean bucket. Ooh. Hold this up a little closer. Look a little brown. All right. That's pretty much it for this. It's a lot of gross water, a little bit of antifreeze in there, a lot of dirt. We're gonna go ahead and drain the block now. All right, well, according to the manual, this is where the drain is for the coolant and the engine block. We'll see here. Empty. All right, well, following the directions here, about to pull this out. I have these old brackets running around that perfectly line up with the holes in here. So I'll screw these in and then get the hoist hooked up to it. All right, now that it's holding up, I'm gonna loosen these bolts. Hopefully they're not stuck. Let's see here. I guess we're going up. And this is completely loose. There's a lot of suspicious stuff like that on here where stuff is just loose. There's like no, let me try the other one here. That one's a little bit more, oops. That came off pretty easy though. Let's try this one down here. Oh, yeah, that was, I'm like hurting myself because I pushing so hard and it just not even tight on there. Not sure what that's about. All right, totally loose. All right, that's the last bolt. I guess we're gonna go ahead and test whatever is still attached to this thing that I missed to see how strong it is when I try to lift it out of here. Seems pretty loose. Oh yeah, I think we're good. Go ahead and pull it back. I think we're free. Or is this, we need to go out more. Caught on something. I think it's the shaft for the hydraulic pump. That's the fan hitting the guard. I don't think the guard, oh maybe the guard has to come off. Maybe I just need to lower it a little bit. That might have been the problem. Yeah, it's too high. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was just that fan was hitting the guard. No big deal. All right, let's check out what kind of treasures we got in here. Take that. Yeah, that's a little crusty. All right. Continuing on with the tradition of no broken bolts. It's only been one so far. It's all part of the same pulley. I might need to check the instructions on this one. Give it a little tap. All right, she's moving. All right. All right. Oh, okay, got it. Little crest. Ooh, man, look at all that buildup down there. A lot of buildup. Pump still. All the impellers are there. Ooh, it smells like when you. Smells like a compost bin. It's an odd smell. All right, well. Next up is. That's not a good sound. A lot of crusties in there. Next up is this. This is already unscrewed here. How am I supposed to get those off? There's two bolts here, two right here. I guess I can get an impact onto all these three. I just need to get right there. Okay. Nothing is stuck. This may look rough, but man, I'll tell you what. There's something to be said for working while you're standing up without crouching over or leaning over a car hood or a fender. This is just right out in the open, easy to get to, much nicer than a car. I mean, that's all I've really ever done before with cars, so. Oh. Go ahead and grab that. So we definitely got a lot of scale in here. But, you know, that's what you'd expect. This thing's 70 years old. Let me put these bolts back in real quick. So looking at this next up, what comes off next? Probably going to need to vacuum all this dirt out of here. It's just full of dirt and down in here. Let me show you. Yeah, I gotta vacuum all that out because I think there's bolts that you gotta unscrew, and I can't even get to them because there's so much garbage in there. All right, well, this thing kind of was a big mystery to me, but now that I have it apart, I've kind of looked at it, and it makes a little bit more sense. So basically, I got the fuel line running in to the pump, which is down here, and then it looks like the pump fills this whole thing up with diesel right here, and then the filters over there. It comes out through the filters through the top of the filter plate. Through here, and then it looks like the clean fuel goes down this hole, which comes down here and out this hole into the fuel rack. So if you look in here, it's looking pretty gnarly in there, pretty rusty. There was a seal around here, but it was all cracked and broken. I'm guessing that seal is what was causing diesel to leak into the engine oil. And yeah, and then over here on this side, so I think this is a seal here that's just all covered in crap. So, you know, that's obviously going to be a new seal anyway. It doesn't look too bad inside though, so that's good. And then on the fuel outlet, man, you look in there, let me see if I can get a good angle for the camera. It's somewhat flickering. It is just, it looks like gravel in there. I mean, it's just full of sand and rust, or I don't know what's in it. It's just probably just rust particles. So this is obviously going to have to come apart and get cleaned out. Maybe we should take a quick peek in this inspection cover there to see what's going on. But you know, it's actually a pretty simple system. I thought it was going to be really complicated, but it seems simple. So yeah, let's take a quick peek in that inspection cover. Well, if you can hear that, that's not thunder outside. That's my kids playing upstairs. Hey, you know what? It doesn't look too bad. It actually looks pretty clean in here. There's probably a fair amount of sediment in the bottom. But, yeah, you know what? I'll take it. It doesn't look too bad. Gears are all clean. No chipped off gear teeth that I can see as of yet. These pistons all look good. I'm assuming these are pistons. So it looks pretty good. Even this gasket is like the best looking gasket I've seen. So we'll have to see. So if the fuel's coming in here, it looks maybe it's going into this. This is the governor over here. So maybe this is where all the problems are. But obviously there's a lot of sediment somewhere because there was so much sediment in that pipe. It's got to be going somewhere. All right, so I think the last thing I'm going to do for this video is take off this cover right here just to see, I mean, just to prove to myself and to others that the engine is going to need a complete, you know, refresh. It probably won't need a lot of parts, but it needs to come apart and it needs to be cleaned out. Just based on what I saw from looking in on the other side where the camshaft is. So I kind of know what to expect when looking in here. But you might not, so if you have a weak stomach, you might want to just turn this video off now because it ain't gonna be pretty. Oh my. So right there on this cover, this is basically like sandpaper here. We got a nice scale, and this scale is basically coating almost everything inside the engine here, which is why it needs to come out. So here, let me get over here. I don't know how well. Let me get a better light over here. Hold on a second. Okay, so over here we got this rod, and all the rods are like this. They're just completely covered in this just rust coating. So it's not attached very well. It just flakes off really easily. So then you look over like the bottom of the engine. and it's just coating everything on the bottom. And this stuff is all loose. Like, I can just run my hand down there, and it's just grit all over the engine. And you know, you look around like the bearings where they would be, and there's just kind of that grit all over. I just don't want to be spinning this thing. I don't want to be spinning it because it's just going to tear itself apart pretty quickly here. So the whole engine needs to come out. That's why I'm saying the whole engine needs to come out. There's really no half measures here. The whole thing has to come out, has to be completely taken apart, cleaned up, and then just replaced as minimally necessary. All right, well anyway, I think I'm going to end the video there. So tune in next week where we get tear into more of this thing and try to figure out what's going on inside. And we're getting a little bit closer each time to pulling the engine out, which is going to be an adventure, that's for sure. You know, if you're expecting this to be running in a couple weeks or a couple months, I got bad news for you. It's going to be a lot longer than that. I mean, basically everything in this thing needs to be gone over, cleaned up, and every system has its own little problems, it seems. Except maybe the transmission, I might have lucked out with that. So anyway, stay tuned, keep watching, and I will keep putting videos up. And eventually we're going to get this thing back out to work, because I have a lot of work for it to do. That's for sure.